Okay, I introduce myself. My name is Aurelia Apasamachaca. I am 24 years old and I am from ERO's community. And my father's name is Francisco Apasa Flores. I am down there. He's down there, I'm sorry. And I live with my parents, my brother Victor, Alfredo, Miguel, and that's, I'm very happy with our day meet with you. Thank you.
Great.
Ainy mi panay Sumaq. Alintanya English chayquita hoja changueña. Ainy mi panay practically. I said that you are doing very good with your English and keep practicing, please. Right? Okay, doke.
Okay.
Ya, ahora mamá, imakunas presentan chayguna tamamarima y chaymanta kallari pacha, no kaka compartir esas nega y documento y quita.
Ya está bien. Yo voy a hablar acerca de la agricultura en Eros. Rituales de la agricultura en Eros. En la parte baja de Eros está a unos metros, 2.500 metros sobre el nivel del mar. La agricultura en Eros es muy importante. ¿Por qué es importante? Es porque es sustento de económicamente, ya sea alimento básica, es por eso que es muy importante en Eros, ya que ellos se sostienen con la agricultura. Sin agricultura yo creo que no podrían vivir, no tendrían animales, no tendrían que comer. Entonces es por eso que la agricultura es más preciado en Eros.
Okay, en Chicamayo. So, well, in this opportunity, I will speak about the rituals of the agriculture in Eros, of the lower part. Okay, so she's going to talk about the rituals of the agriculture at your cloud forest, right? In the direction to the jungle. So the altitude at that place is in about 2,500 meters above sea level. Agriculture is very, very important to us, to the Qero people, because it's part of our economic support in our community. If no agriculture, we don't think we would be able to survive at the places where we live. It's very important not only for a human being. Agriculture is also very important for the existence of our animals as well, because our animals are part of our economy as well. So agriculture is very important for the Qero people. Continúa, mamá.
La agricultura, cada uno se preocupa por lo que va a activar. Por ejemplo, en la parte baja crea maíz, tubérculos, perdón, oca. Entonces, si no hacen un jaiwari, disculpa un poco.
Aurelita, te hemos perdido. ¿Puedes repetir esa partecita de los tubérculos y la oca y el jaiwaricuy?
Cada uno se preocupa cada año, se realiza un jaiwari para tener buen producto. Entonces, cada persona se preocupa por su alimento. Y si no se preocupa, Lamentablemente, ese año pasa quizás de hambre, porque no lo ha hecho Haiwarikui. Entonces, también es muy importante hacer un Haiwarikui, un despacho para buen producto.
Mhm. Okay, so in our community of Eros, okay, in the lower part, okay, we cultivate a different kind of crops like tubers and things like that. All right, so in order to have a good harvest, we have to always perform a haiwarikui, gain the right to receive, in order to have a very nice harvest. In our community of Eros, every person or a chief of the family is responsible of making the haiwarikui for their agriculture, their personal agriculture, because each of them have to be responsible of also making their haiwarikui in order to have enough for their family or your family. If you don't perform the haiwarikui or the sacred reciprocity, then you are giving a chance, for the hunger invade your house, though you won't have any to eat.
¿Podría pasar otro diapositiva, por favor?
C'est parfait, c'est très bien. Oh, ¿está?
Sí.
Perfecto.
Como estaba comentando, que la ofrenda individual a la Madre Tierra es muy importante tener esa preocupación por su alimento, porque es la única forma de comer y es la única forma de sostenerse. Entonces, para ello, tiene que preparar el guano, tiene que preparar la tierra, entonces, y con un despacho individual, que es cada uno hace su En caso de papa, en este caso se reúne entre todos. Ya sabes que hacemos para todos. Hacen una reunión, entonces lo realizan para todos el despacho, en caso de papa, pero en caso de maíz, lisas, tubérculos, eso hace solamente individual.
Okay. The individual offering, it is very important for everybody, okay? Then with this individual haiwarikui, then it is like preparing their storehouse for them to be full, all right? Imagine that only our people lives from agriculture, and this is our main source of feeding ourselves, So the haiwarikui, it is, I would say that is the second phase, because the first phase, it is how you treat your soil, your farms. Every time you have to prepare your farms with a lot of love, you have to take enough fertilizer, okay? Like for us, it is the poop of our animals. So you have to take care, you have to just mix the soil with that. You have to plant your seeds, and then comes the haiwarikui, because then the seed is going to germinate, right? So in terms of potato farming, all right, we do our communal offering, our communal haiwarikui, only in the case of potato. But in the case of maize and other crops, then always each one is responsible of making their own haiwarikui. Continúa, mami.
Siguiente diapositiva. Quillarraimi. ¿Qué es quillarraimi? ¿En qué consiste? Consiste en que es preparar terreno en los meses de septiembre. los meses de septiembre, ya sea 22, uno de ellos, 21 de septiembre, hacen un grande jaiwaricoy para la producción de papa o maíz con ofrendas o bailes y ritos. Y entonces,
Yeah, okay, so, well, one of their main festivities which refers to the farming rituals, it is the Quilla Raimi. Quilla is the mother moon, Raimi is the festivity, so it's the festivity of the mother moon. That usually takes place on the 21st or 22nd of September, where all of us, we make a very big haiwarikui for the plantation of maize, right? All this festivity, it's all about a celebration, okay, of the starting of their farming season, where it is involved a lot of rites and also a lot of dancing and music. Sigue, mami.
Ahora en Quillarraimi lo realizan para para sembrar la papa, o ya sea del maíz o lisas. Si cada año sí o sí debe realizar Quillarraimi.
Okay, for them it's very, very important to do this haiwarikui and this ritual in September. You won't miss any year because it's very important to do this for the fertility of the maize, potatoes, or other kind of tubercles they have. Quillaraimi is something that you won't just disconsider, you know, it is a very important festivity for them.
Siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Vamos a empezar con ceremonia grande de maíz, oca y oyuco. Ahora, para sembrar, antes de sembrar, tiene que realizar también un haiwarikui, como le comentaba en mes de septiembre. Y luego, deshiervo, en florecimiento también. Es un despacho que también es un despacho pequeño, pero se tiene que realizar también. Ahora, para recibir la cosecha, es un agradecimiento a la Pachamama por la producción o por la buena producción. Entonces, son 3 despachos que se realiza al año. Entonces, cada despacho tiene que hacer el chacrayo, el dueño de la chacra, perdón.
Está bien, mami, chacrayo. Okay, so there is this set of ceremonies that people does in Eros for in the farming activity, okay? Well, the Ceremonia Grande, well, it is the biggest ceremony that they do for planting the seeds of maize, oca, or oyuco. Maize, you know, okay, oca, it is a very endemic plant in a tubercle in the Andes, okay? It is also medicinal. And the oyuco, which is the water potato, which mainly is used for a soup. Well, the two second crops you won't see yet in the international market, not even in Lima, all right? This is very, very localized tubercle in the Andean mountains, and it's very basic for the for the feeding system of the community. Anyway, so the first ritual you do is when you plant the seeds, you have to make a very big haiwariku, you know, of fertility. And then the second you do, when you do the deshierve, deshiervar is the verb, and deshierve, it is when you take the herbs that is not letting the maize, oca, or uyuco grow. You have to just take it from it around. Deshierve, all right? They do manually this.
Weeding.
And then weeding, yes, that's weeding, right? And then we have the florecimiento, flowering, and cosecha, which is another ritual that they do, right? And that is big too. Well, Aurelia explains that the second one is a small haiwariku they do. But the first big, I mean, the first and the second one are the big ones, you know, when they plant the seed and then when they see a flowering and the cosecha or the harvesting are very big ceremonies that they do. And all this is responsibility of the chakrayok. The chakrayok is the owner of the land, the owner of the field. Sigue, Aurelita.
Freddie, can I just clarify? Because there was a couple different things said there that seemed to contradict. So the first one is done before the planting of the seed, right?
Yeah, during the siembra.
And that would be in September with
the
moon ceremony?
Exactly.
So the planting, so that would be spring for them because you're going into summer in December. So the planting in the spring would be in September with the moon ceremony. So that's the first one of planting. Is that correct, Freddie?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so that's the big one. And then once the plants start to come out and you see the flowers, then the second biggest one is that one for the flowering of the plants. Is that correct?
No, actually, no. It's a small ceremony. The second one is a small for deshierve, for deshiervar.
Ah, right? Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And then the last one is while flowering because they are nearly to receive the harvest. So that's the third big. The first big, a small, second, and the third big.
So the third big one is for the flowering.
Yeah, flowering and harvest. This is the three.
So those
flowering
are obviously
and
at different times. So do they do one ceremony for flowering or one for both flowering and harvest?
Okay. Aurelita, ¿la tercera ceremonia lo haces durante la cosecha o el florecimiento? O el florecimiento que incluye la cosecha.
No. Primero se realiza antes de la siembra y la segunda se realiza antes del florecimiento y la tercera se realiza antes de la siembra para recibir una bendición del producto.
Ah, perfecto, gracias Aurelia. Entonces no se hace ningún haiwariku para el deshierve. No hay ceremonia para el deshierve.
No, son más los hierbas que se realiza, para ellos se realiza un pequeño, se podría hacer un hichariku y se dice eso, con un poquito de vino. Es un pequeño para deshierve. Por ejemplo, podría ser al maíz le agarra, por ejemplo, cuando fría en pescado y de repente hace una enfermedad, por decir. Es por eso que es para deshiervo o mala hierba o mal viento puede pasar. Entonces, es por eso que es pequeño para deshierve un hicharicuy, no tan, como le digo, es pequeño.
Ya, perfecto.
Ujú,
Un jaiwaricui pequeño.
ujú.
Okay, so the idea of the zierve, it is just a small ceremony, okay, to protect the, you know, the plantation or maíz, oca, or oyuco, right? This is just for taking away a kind of sicknesses or illnesses that might attack to your plantation. It is not a big jaiwaricui, but it's a small related to an icharicui, which is, you know, the ceremony of the wine, more or less, okay? So this is, in reality, what Aurelia says that they have 4 ceremonies and 3 of them are, you know, very good big ones. And the second one, you know, one is during the siembra, planting seeds, a small one during the deshiervar, then when blooms and when harvest. It's a big ones, 3 big ones.
Makes perfect sense to me as a farmer. Perfect. Always seeing the flowers come out, you feel a big ceremony in your heart, definitely. And as the fruit sets. Okay, sigue, Aurelia. Qué bonito.
Siguiente diapositiva. Abre tu micrófono, Aurelita. Abre tu micrófono, Aurelia.
Ay, perdón.
Ahora sí.
También es muy importante la chicha en Eros. Por decir, no solamente para hacer, para tomar, es para Jaiwaricui también es incluido la chicha. Ahora voy a explicar lo que es el proceso de la chicha. En primer lugar, remojas el maíz, luego, antes de por lo menos 5 días. Luego tiene que moler el maíz en batán. Después echar el agua, hacer hervir el agua y el maíz molido en batán lo echa a la olla y luego hacer por lo menos hervir 1 minuto y luego colar. Puede ser un colador, pero no muy grande, pero que no pase y nuevamente hacerlo hervir después de colar. Y luego, después de hacer hervir, finalmente echar al urpu, que nosotros utilizamos allá el urpu, acá se ve, como puede ver. Y luego dejar de fermentar por lo menos 2 días. De esta manera se prepara la chicha.
Okay, so part of the ritualistic aspect of the farming in Eros, it's take place a very important drink which we call the chicha. All right, the chicha is the fermented corn drink, right? Yeah. So what now she was explaining us about the process of how to make chicha. Okay, so listen to this, pen and paper, and you can make your own chicha back home. Right? First, you put the maize in water, okay? You put the maize in water, right? And after, you just leave it for about 2 weeks, more or less, in humid, very humid, all right? So the maize will start germinating, right? You'll see pieces of roots coming out from the maize. Then you take it out, and then you take it to the grinder. In this case, you can use your grinder, but in Eros, they use the batan, which are stones, all right? 2 stones, that's a grinder. It's a mortar that they use. And after this, you put in boiling water, right? You put in boiling water and then you let it boil. And after that, then you strain it, right? So you can use your strainer, but have to be with very small holes to not let go through pieces of maize. Needs to be only the water. In this case, in Eros, they use, you know, nets made out of a straw, you know, very fine. So they just collect all the crumbles and then only water goes through. So this water, you have to boil again. When you boil again, that's what you call the urpu, all right? The urpu is the water which is not fermented yet. And then you put in these special containers made out of clay that the Ero people has, and then you let it ferment for about 2 days, right? Only 2 days, please. All right, if you let it ferment for 3 days and you drink it, you will become the prime minister of your country, right? 2 days is only okay. So this is what they use for their rituals, because they offer chicha to Mother Earth, to Pachamama, the Apus, the Aukis, the Ñustas, right? It's very nice the way how they do it. And also they enjoy chicha as well while they work together with chewing coca leaves and a lot of food. Gracias, Mami. ¿Puedes continuar?
Ready? Ready, is there anything added? Is there any sugar or any fermenting ingredient added? Or it's only the corn, nothing else? Only the corn and water?
Aurelita,
No,
¿se le echa? ¿No? ¿Nada?
no se le echa nada.
Ya,
Por lo que es se fermenta por días y no se agrega nada, ni azúcar, nada. Sí puede agregar azúcar, pero si es que le guste. Pero normalmente los eros toman así nomás, sin azúcar.
Okay, no sugar in Eros.
Entonces, only the sugar of the corn. Only
Exactly. Yeah.
The sweet. Yeah. No spit of the old lady.
No, no, no. Las abuelitas no escupen en el ¿no? En el urpu para que fermente. No, no es cierto. Aurelita, si quieres, puedes cerrar tu cámara para que tengas más acceso a conversar. Aurelita, para escucharte mejor, si quieres, puedes cerrar tu cámara y puedes hablar, cosa que te escuchamos mejor porque parece que tu internet está débil.
Por favor.
Ya, excelente. Entonces, las abuelitas no escupen en la bebida.
No, no, no. Eso
Ya,
no pasa eso.
Ok. Te paso a la siguiente diapositiva.
Voy a explicar un poquito de acá,
Ya,
del
perfecto.
maíz. Lo que utilizamos para la chicha es maíz amarillo.
Ya.
Generalmente se realiza con maíz amarillo y las rojas son para tostado y el plomo. Ahora, también se realiza para son maíces blancos, tampoco son amarillas, pero bueno, yo he visto que utiliza maíz blanco para los pachos. No sé exactamente para qué es, pero lo utiliza para despacho.
Okay. Okay, so the maize is used for chicha is only the yellow. Okay. Yellow, the yellow maize. You have to find the yellow corn. The red corn I mean the red and the breakfast, all right, it's instead of bread. And the white maize is ritualistic. Yeah, the white maize is for offerings. They do a lot of offerings. Aurelia doesn't.
We lost you, Freddie, for a minute in there. You disappeared.
All right. Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you. We heard about the yellow corn, but then the red and the blue or the gray are for, is it toasting used instead of bread for breakfast? Okay,
wonderful, wonderful. Yes, it's very, very soft and crunchy. You put on your boiled fresh milk. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Right. And then the white maize is more ritualistic, right? The white maize, they keep it for rituals, right? They offer to Pachamama, the Apus, the Aukis, Nustas.
Disculpa, chicha morada, el maíz negro es para chicha morada.
And then there are the purple maize as well, you know, which they harvest. It is for a sweet drink, which we call chicha morada. Yeah. If you have the chance to come to Peru, then you will drink chicha morada. It's delicious. It's not alcoholic, that is not fermented, all right? It's not like the other chicha, which produces alcohol, at least 5–6%, same as a beer.
Ahora el siguiente,
Continúa.
por favor.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Los usos de la chicha, nosotros en Eros lo utilizamos para jaiwarikuy y el otro chuyay de oveja y llama tumachi, esos se llaman, hacerle beber a las llamas. Por haber cargado desde Eros, porque es una distancia todavía, una distancia de 30 kilómetros a Colpacucho.
Okay, so the other usage of the chicha, it is the jaiwarikuy or chuyay, llama tumachi. This is the ritual that they do, you know, during the harvest period when they transport all their goods from the cloud forest up to Colpacucho, where they live, right? So they feel like giving to drink to the llamas who's carried for at least 30 kilometers or all these goods. They feel like they deserve also having their drink, which is chicha. ¿Y a las llamas les gusta la chicha, Aurelia? Aurelita, ¿a las llamas les gusta la chicha? ¿Se lo toman?
Hola, hola.
Hello.
Freddie, what is chuyay?
Chuyay, it is like a purification, blessing. Yeah.
What do you mean? Like a hucha
Like,
pampachakwi? Like something?
In this case, to the animals, I understand that they do the chuyay, you know, which is an irrigation of a particular energy for them to, you know, to reproduce, you know, to be well, to not be attacked by any kind of sickness. You know, chuyay, it is like sending a lot of sami to your animals, all right? And take them out of from whatever heavy energy, more or less. That is chuyay.
So it's like from the verb chuya, which means pure.
Exactly.
Pure,
Pure.
right?
Exactly.
Chuya. Like we are learning the chuya Kero tradition. The pure
Exactly,
tradition.
Elizabeth. The chuya
Yes.
ERO tradition taught by the original masters with,
Yes.
you know, exactly. Something that
Yeah.
haven't been done ever, as far as I know.
Yes. Okay. And the lama yama tumachi is when they make the animals drink it, but it doesn't ever look like they like it. When you see the pictures, it's like force feeding the chicha.
Yeah.
¿Les gustan, Aurelia, o no?
No les gusta,
llama.
pero cuando le haces tomar, ya se lo toma.
Well, you know, they don't know the principle of drinking chicha, of course, the animals, but as far as I saw one time, when they have a taste, you know, and they just start swelling it up, right? They drink it, the llamas. The llamas at Machu Picchu, they like chocolate. These tourists and these kids, you know, give chocolate. They give all kinds of snacks, you know, and these llamas are used to all kind of food. Oh my gosh, really? Yeah. Sometimes when I get to Machu Picchu, I say, why do you feed with chocolate to the llama? But they like it.
It's really bad for dogs. I wonder if it's. But is the chicha in some way good for their digestion or some way cleansing? Is there an idea about that?
¿Por qué le dan la chicha, Aurelita? ¿Por qué le dan chicha? ¿Cuál es la razón?
La razón que dan es por lo que ha cargado. Ellos sienten que debe tomar, o también es porque es un costumbre de guerreros que normalmente le hacen machos, le dicen a las llamas. Entonces, por lo porque un hombre podría cargar, ¿no?, el maíz, pero en vueltas y vueltas. Pero una llama carga en un solo viaje, entonces es por eso que también y festeja ceremonia a las llamas y por eso también le hacen.
Okay. Can you listen? Are you listening to me? All right. So Aurelia explains that this is this feeling of the Q'ero people towards the llama, you know, as the animal that have transported the whole goods to the community, and they have this special consideration to the llama and elevating them at the level of a man. They don't consider the llama as llama, you know, when they see all their products at home, and they are so happy that the llama has been carrying all this, and they feel that they deserve, so as man deserves to drink chicha, then the llama deserves to drink his chicha too. They feel like they have to give it, they deserve it, all right? Because all this power that the llama spent, they don't really consider if the llama like or not like, but they feel that they deserve it. And they have to, all right? So they give it with a lot of love, with a lot of consideration to the llama. They give it the glass of chicha.
Is that the end, Aurelia? Do we have time for questions? ¿Tienes
¿Terminaste,
más?
Aurelita?
Sí, bueno, sería todo eso. Por su... Y si hay alguna duda, quería preguntarme, por favor.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much by your time. This is all she wanted to teach us, but if you have any questions, she's ready to answer it.
Birgit had a question back in the chat about the wine, and does the wine grow in their area, or do they have to buy it or barter for wine to offer to Pachamama? How does it work nowadays? Or do they mostly just use chicha?
Aurelita, ¿ustedes hacen vino, crecen vino por allá o los traen de afuera?
¿Escuchas, Aurelia?
Aurelia.
Estoy escuchando, solo entrecortado.
Ya.
Ajá.
El
Entonces,
vino lo traen de afuera o hacen ustedes vino.
No, creo que mi internet está mal.
ahora te escuchamos. Aurelia, ¿escuchaste la pregunta?
No, es entrecortado. Creo que es mi internet.
Ya, si ustedes hacen vino en su comunidad o cómo llega el vino en las ceremonias. Hola. Ya se fue.
Okay, so the answer for that is the wine. It is a colonial beverage that arrived with the Spaniards. So they never did wine here. They don't even grow grapes in Eros. They don't do any wine, but they felt that this would be a nice drink to replace chicha during their ceremony and do, more sophisticated. This is, as far as I know, and as I listen from the Ero people about the usage of wine.
But they still use chicha for the ceremonial drink.
Oh my gosh, a lot, Elizabeth, a lot of chicha. Yes.
Yeah. Which is very original tradition.
Exactly. The original tradition is chicha. The Inca people offered chicha. They never had wine or other kind of drinks. No vodka from potatoes, no, only chicha.
They do have a lot of potatoes though. Any other questions, guys?
I have another question.
Okay.
I was reading about the symbols of weavings, and I have learned that also in the certain symbols in their weavings are very connected with how exactly they do their fields. I was just wondering if Aurelia does know anything about that, if she ever heard that.
So maybe Birgit, put the question about the agriculture in the chat, because you were all chopped up in your question and
Oh boy,
we
okay.
couldn't understand it. So any questions about the agriculture that she's talked about? Put it in the chat. If you can you write it in? Ahora, Aurelia, te vemos bien. If other people have questions, can write it, please write it in the chat. I'm not sure why can you guys hear me okay? Am I being, okay, I'm not, it's not cut up. Good, okay.
It's okay, Elizabeth.
Okay, buena pregunta. Freddie, ¿tú puedes ver? So it's a question about, okay, so it's a question about, are there symbols in the weavings that are about the fields, that represent the fields? And
Hay
so
algunas,
the question is about sacred geometry of the fields.
Aurelia, ¿ustedes tienen alguna representación de la agricultura dentro de vuestros tejidos? ¿Tienen algunos payáis que puede representar alguna geometría sagrada de la agricultura?
Lo único que podría sería en nuestro yihya, que indica el lago, pero eso es como decir un río, pero es una regadera, es decir, algo, solo sería eso. Alguna otro sería, a ver, en otro palla sería, pero no es exactamente la papa ni el maíz. Son otras plantas que en nuestra yihya hay una representación, pero no exactamente de la papa o del maíz.
Okay, though what they have is, it is just a general representation of their fields and lagoons and rivers and water, but exactly, you know, they don't really have a representation of the potato or the maize or something like that.
They have the Qawaq, which is the medicinal plant, also known as the puma's claw, and that's always represented, or not always, but often represented in the weaving. The puma's claw.
Well, thank you, Aurelia. So interesting and just so well prepared, just on the fly, like that. So, and Ruben's, I always look at my notes from last year's Ruben's Quechua. So hope to see that one day too. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks,
Gracias.
John.
Gracias, Aurelia.
Yes.
It's just another way to spell Haiwarikwi. The Q is, yeah.
El viento lo cerró.
It's a different spelling for Haiwarikwi, Anya. Yeah. The medicinal plant is called the puma's claw, keraje. I don't know if it's related to cat's claw. It's called keraje. I don't know, something. I'm not sure how to write it.
Keraje.
Next
With
keraje? Is keraje
keraje.
the same as the puma's claw, Freddie?
That's what they said when we had the Payay readings, you know, when we had the session of reading of the iconography.
The iconography of the weavings. I like that. That's great. Muy bien. Ruben Angel, salúdanos. ¿Dónde está tu cara más guapa? So Ruben was listening so that he can add to Aurelia for next time, because he will also present. So he wanted to hear what she was saying, and then he'll know what to add. Hola, Ruben Angel. Hola, hola. Oh. Bueno. Okay, I don't know if he's not going to appear. Bueno, otra pregunta más. Is there any other question, or did we get them all? Okay. Muchas gracias, Aurelia.
Gracias,
Creo que
Aurelita.
había la pregunta, ¿qué es Haiwarikui?
Ah, no,
No,
es,
mami.
es otro, es que no reconocen con Q al sí, normalmente se ven con H, ya. Ya, entienden lo que es Haiwarikui. Okay, thank you so much everyone for coming. Thank you, thank you. Muchas gracias, Aurelia. Muy lindo.
Gracias, Aurelia.
Gracias,
Súper
Aurelita.
Bye, Aurelia. Gracias.
Bye.
Urpichay.
you.
Añay.
Urpichay.
Buenas
Urpichay
noches.
son
Buenas
Komi.
noches.